Hello, welcome to another session of Learn with Veer Sagar. Last session, we talked about a startup entrepreneur. Today, I'll cover something bigger. If you want to be a little more than an individual, you have to start a company, a small, privately owned company, but as an entrepreneur. People ask you, okay, what do you want? The first thing you want is money. Where are you going to get the funds from? I personally believe that money is not the first thing that you require. What you require is a good business idea. Take a business idea and say, okay, I have this business idea. Who is that somebody who will pay to buy this idea or this product or this whatever I am selling from me? Who is he? What does he look like? Or what does he or she look like? Where does he or she live? So get in your mind a full specs. I don't want to call man specs, I want to get a full specs of the person who will pay you to buy your item from you. Having got that, then you say, okay, that's fine. I have got this guy or this person. This is where that person lives. This is what the person does. And this is what the person take. And I have an idea. Now, why will that person buy from me? A, does he or she have a need? And does he or she have a choice to fulfill that need? Having then got that, you say, okay, why will then I be selected over what other people are offering? What is it in your favor? And when you are doing this, right, don't look from it from your point of view. I have got this great idea. No, look for it from the customer's point of view, from the buyer's point of view. What is it that the buyer wants, which you have, and somebody else also have, but you can give a better solution, a more reliable solution, a cheaper solution. And believe me, price is not always the criteria. When a decision is taken on price, you are on a bad wicket, because people then buy the lowest, and to get to the lowest, then people start taking shortcuts. And since you can't take a shortcut, you will not be the lowest and you will get dropped out. And if you take shortcuts and you make a quality problem, then you have other issues. So if the market is purely based on price, walk out. Don't get into it. But if the market is based on other things like quality, etc., but price being reasonable, or the word I use is competitive. If the price is competitive, then yes. So think, why will he or she buy from you? What is the additional that you are providing that somebody does not provide? And I tell you, quality is not just one thing. Reliability, for example. Trust, reliability is a very, very important thing. In my case, in Electronics case, that is the differentiator. Trust and reliability. We deal with records, medical records of customers. So they must have the confidence that those records will not be misused, will not be lost. The confidentiality will be maintained, and therefore they can trust us for doing that. And that to them is worth much more than a 5% or 10% reduction in quality, in price, 10% reduction in price. So you got to then see, okay, trust and reliability. One of the things you then do, if you talk to a consultant or for somebody or a VC, for example, he'll ask for a business plan. I find that very strange. When I have a product or an idea or a service about which I'm not very sure who is it actually going to buy, in what quantity, in what numbers, to make a business plan which will fit into a spreadsheet is, I think, a exercise in futility. What you need to have a business idea. This is my business idea. This is what it costs me to bring that idea to the market. This is what my break even is, and how do I get to that point of being break even? How do I find my customers? Having found my customers, how do I maintain my customers? One of the easiest way, nowadays of course you have a lot of these digital advertising, digital marketing, right? But one of the easiest way is to use your customer. Find the first customer. Even if you have to give that person free trials, it doesn't matter. Give them the term, here is the product, here's the service. Get the person to give you a feedback so that you can design a better product, and then get a feedback, and then once the customer is happy, say, now please can you recommend me to some friends of yours, some acquaintances, and they will recommend you to somebody. When you are recommended by a user, then you're already pre-sold. You don't have to go and tell them what you need to do. All you have to then do is give them the good service and then ask them to recommend you forward. Initially, that's a great way of succeeding. And once you have critical mass, you've got quite a few people, then you can start doing other things. But otherwise, till that time, you do this. Use your customer as your marketing. See, when you are an entrepreneur, you have to think big in terms of vision, but keep your implementation as simple, as frugal as possible. No overheads. My company, for example, we've been around now 25 years next February. We have no administrative staff. Just one finance manager come administration come everything else. The only other administration staff is me as the CEO, chairman, whatever you call it. I'm also the head of marketing. So everybody else is delivering, is producing, is generating revenue. So you have to cut those things down. So when you're starting a company, think of a business plan. Think of what you need to do. Who's your customer? What's the customer's profile? Where is he or she situated? Why will he or she buy from you? How are you in relation to somebody else? What are the other products with which he or she can meet that particular demand, and why will they buy from you? And then what's plan B? Right? What happens if you get overtaken by technology? What happens if something else happens? So what are your plan B? So to be an entrepreneur, to opening a company of yours, to do some idea, right? Then you need to have a business idea, work out in details about the implementation, the delivery. How are you going to deliver? The responsibility within the organization, and how are you going to acquire these customers? Then having acquired them, how do you maintain them? How do you always create a distinction between you and the competitors? And believe me, always think as the customer. Think from the customer's point of view, not from your point of view. Not what I need to do to sell, but what does the customer need to do to buy? Or what does the customer need to feel? Or what do I need to do so that the customer feels like buying my product, like buying my service? Think like the customer. Make the customer your vertical, make the customer your focus, and you will succeed. To summarize then, to be an entrepreneur, starting up a company, right? You need to have a business idea. You need to have that idea saying, okay, this is the market segment that I will meet. This is the vacancy in the market. This is the gap in the supplies which I can fulfill. And are you a better option? And then think all the answers from the customer's point of view. And then how will you reach the customer? How will you maintain the customer? And how do you service the customer? Because remember, the most important thing is trust and reliability. Rest can be managed. Thank you very much. It's still Veer Sagar saying, see you again next week. Bye-bye.